All right, good afternoon. Thanks for coming. As we all know, the Cleveland Browns lease is up in 2028. Negotiations are reportedly being held between the administration and the Cleveland Browns. We in council, the legislative body, want to assure the public that all proper legal steps are being considered and taken. For these reasons, I'm introducing legislation tonight to ensure that this happens. Tonight in Cleveland City Council, Ordinance 391, 2024 will be introduced. This will be authorizing and directing the Director of Law to fully enforce the provisions of Ohio Revised Code Section 9.67 that imposes restrictions on the owner of a professional sports team that uses a tax-supported facility and that receives financial assistance from the state or the city. Whereas the Ohio Revised Code 967 states, no owner of a professional sports team that uses a tax-supported facility for most of its home games and receives financial assistance from the state or a political subdivision, therefore shall cease playing most of its home games at the facility and begin playing most of its home games elsewhere unless the owner either A, enters into an agreement with the political subdivision permitting the team to play most of its home games elsewhere, or B, gives the political subdivision in which the facility is located not less than 6 months advance notice of the owner's intention to cease playing most of its home games at the facility, and during that 6 months after such notice, gives the political subdivision or any individual or groups of individuals who reside in the area the opportunity to purchase the team. Whereas the owners of the Cleveland Browns football team and currently considered whether to continue to play Browns games at the tax-supported stadium on Cleveland Lakefront, and whereas ORC 9.67, which became effective June 20th of 1996, was enacted pursuant to a bill proposed by then State Senator Dennis Kucinich. What this basically does, ladies and gentlemen, is ensures that the Cleveland Browns have to go through the legal process of leaving the city of Cleveland, whether they want to move the team to Timbuktu or whether they want to move them to Brook Park or to Lakewood or to any other state. They have to go before the city, Cleveland City Council, ask for permission to leave that team or to move the team, or they have to give us 6 months notice and offer to put the team up for sale. We're hoping that the latter does not happen. However, this is going to ensure that the Cleveland Browns are going to be a part of the legislative process, and the Cleveland City Council is going to have a say-so in that. With that, I'll open it up to any questions that anybody may have. But we wanted to let everybody know that that this bill that is in the ORC and was used in 2018 to keep the Columbus Crew in Columbus under then Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine, used this in order to assure that the Columbus Crew stayed in Columbus and didn't move out of that city. We're just getting our fair shake here in the city of Cleveland to ensure that the Cleveland Browns remain in the city of Cleveland.
Has the team given any indication they would like to move from the lakefront prior to the expiration of the lease at the end of the 2028 season?
I'm personally not privy to any conversations. If they've had those conversations with the administration, they have not shared them with us. However, we also want to ensure that, we as a council play a role in this as well. There's a couple of different legislative bodies that should be involved in there, or there's one legislative body that should be involved. There's a second branch of government that's also involved, but that third branch, which could end up taking this to the courts, are also involved.
Can you explain the timeline, how this would work, if you only need notice to leave?
Well, as far as the ordinance that we're introducing tonight, it'll be introduced tonight. It'll go through the proper channels. Hopefully, it'll go before Finance Committee within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll hear it. It'll go to the mayor's desk for signature. If he signs it, that's great. But we're just making sure that all the legislative protocols are being followed with this potential move.
In terms of the Browns actually saying, we do want to leave, giving that 6 month notice, what would the next step be?
According to the law, and the law is the law, they would have to give 6 months notice, and then in that 6 months notice, they would have to offer the team for sale to either the political subdivision or a third-party entity who would agree to keep the team in the city.
Is council legislation really necessary to pursue this process? As you mentioned, it's already outlined in state law. If the city wants to sue, can't the city just sue?
Well, as far as we're concerned, we want to make sure that this process is taken.
The team is looking for 500 to 600 million in public funds for a potential renovation, while also matching those funds. Has there been any consideration from the city of Cleveland of getting out of the stadium business and turning it over to the county? My understanding is the Browns are looking to make this a regional project more so than the burden just falling strictly on the city.
Again, Cleveland City Council has not been briefed on anything like that.
Councilman, what have you heard from the administration, not the Browns, but the administration about the ongoing negotiations?
Mark, thanks for asking. What we've heard is exactly what you've been reporting, and other news outlets has been reporting. That's about as far as we've gotten.
When do you see council having to be involved in it, and when do you think you should be conformed with where things stand?
I think we should have already been involved. I think we should be part of the process. As of right now, we're not privy to anything.
If the team is sold, what happens to the stadium after it's split?
That would all be part of negotiations on the sale, I would imagine. And I'm not saying the team's for sale. Don't get me wrong. I'm not calling for the Haslams to sell the team. Don't get me wrong. I'm just calling for the process of the state law to be followed.
Are you aware if the Browns have communicated with the administration or city council in any way about the potential of a Brook Park stadium?
The city council has not been briefed as far as I'm under that understanding. The administration may have been briefed.
Since a lot of this is still hypothetical, let's play it out. Would you support annexation of a portion of Brook Park with support of their voters to keep the city and the stadium together?
Mark, that's a long process, and these are the Cleveland Browns, and I stand by the Cleveland Browns. So for the people of the city of Cleveland, a lot of people who are involved in the negotiations right now were either too young or weren't even involved or remember when the Browns left the first time. And the heartfelt that this city went through when that team left. And we want to assure that the Cleveland Browns remain the Cleveland Browns, and that this is a Cleveland team. It's not another city team. So that's me where I stand with it.
A lot of times when legislation is introduced, obviously it involves a lot of stakeholders coming up to the table and testifying before a city council committee. Is this legislation also an attempt to get answers directly from the Cleveland Browns who may be asked to come and testify here about what they may be asking for?
Cleveland City Council is an open and transparent form of government, and we would welcome anybody who'd want to come and speak on behalf of any entity to the table to give us any answers that we would want.
Have the Haslams given you a specific breakdown of, is it looking for state, county, and city funding? Have they given you any type of, you've seen any type of a breakdown how those numbers might fall and what the city's version potentially could be?
I've seen nothing.
Have you requested to see it?
We're always requesting.
The Browns have told Signal Cleveland that they are looking for a 50-50 split, but not all of the 50 will be coming from the city. There are other avenues between state and county. When we talk about county, we have to talk about a syntax. We have to be separate in the new syntax that would incorporate the new stadium. Would you be supportive of that?
I'd have to see the terms of it. Again, that's a county issue where more than just the voters of the city of Cleveland would be asked to pony up for that. Thank you very much. I appreciate all your attendance. Have a great day.